Welcome to Embodied Microdosing, where we explore the miracles that happen when we combine intentional doses of sacred mushrooms with trauma-informed somatic practices. Hi, I'm Rai, and this ministry is on a mission to help you embody healing. Let's answer your questions and call in expansion so you can integrate these highly effective evidence-based tools into your journey. Embodied microdosing is where science and spirituality meet to awaken the healer within. Let's take one conscious breath together. And begin.
Hello and healthy new year to you here in 2026. Welcome to a new calendar year. A threshold is definitely being crossed. I know for me personally, but with so many of you, of us in the self-healing community, just kind of walking, stumbling, rolling, falling over this threshold line after a year of incredible shedding and clarity, and coming into 2026, hopefully into the winter season with just a little reflection and rest in the intention, even as we desire to change and to grow and to be more and to have more and to do more and to feel more well and whole, that we can just claim a blessing on this coming year, shall we? Right now, I'm claiming a blessing on 2026 for all of us, for our weary hearts and our maybe tired bodies, and for our big, beautiful hearts and spirits that want so much for this world and for the people who are hurting in it. I believe this year might have something special in store for us. I don't think that necessarily means it's going to be easy. Is it? Is anything on the self-healing path easy? Nah, that wouldn't be fun. What's fun is being intentional. And here we are for another episode of the Embodied Microdosing podcast, talking about being intentional. I'm just so glad that you tuned in. Just really, really honored as I open up the little program that I use to publish the podcast episodes, and I'll open up and be like, oh, wow, 91 people listened to that episode, 120. One of the episodes has 250 listens, I think. So it's happening. The word is spreading. People are finding more information about microdosing specifically for healing, and you belong here if you're listening. I really appreciate you, and I think you're going to like this one. I got an email this morning. I always have a million podcast ideas, but the right one always comes forward at the right time. And this is something I've been wanting to talk about for a while. So for someone to very explicitly, a beautiful mom, someone I've known for a while, someone who's been following my work and being very thoughtful about when the right time is to start microdosing, messaged me and said, good morning. I'm going to read her email to you. I received the sacrament and some of your other lovely medicines for Christmas. I loved sending you all beautiful little Christmas packages. I don't want to waste it by just randomly taking drops. Now, she is talking about the original sacrament, psilocybin medicine. I want to use it effectively and intentionally. Bravo. Applause, applause. Can we set off a little background noise here of clapping for this beautiful human? Not unlike everyone else, I have carpool, sports, work, etc. Should I clear a certain amount of time in my schedule to take the microdose and work with it? I'm guessing I shouldn't have kids buzzing around and distracting me. Is there a one-page cheat sheet or something like that I can download? Thank you so much for your info. I'm really looking forward to incorporating it this year with intention for healing and deeper understanding within. Oh my gosh, thank you to this beautiful mom who will remain nameless, but who just set off the theme, the episode, the whole question that I'm going to answer here in this podcast episode with a little organization, giving you a lot of tips, always practical insight, advice, hopefully a little context for you to fully understand. I will answer her question because I think her question is the question. It's what I wrote an entire book about that is in the self-publishing process right now. I just got it back from the editor. It's called Microdosing Mushrooms, a guide to working with the sacred for healing. And this is a very large section of the book where I do talk about, and really throughout the whole book, how are we doing this? How do I microdose with intention? How do I weave practices in that are going to maximize my microdose? Do I need to clear a whole day? Do I need to clear 2 hours? Is 10 minutes enough? What am I doing in that time, right? How do I weave this all together in a way that's going to be meaningful and truthfully isn't going to, I don't know, everyone's concern. I know I have a concern with this, waste it. I don't want to waste the medicine. I don't want to waste my time, right? There's a lot going on. I'm making an investment in my healing and I want to do it right. So just honoring you, honoring this person for the desire to do this in the most effective way. And here I go offering quite a bit of insight on how to maximize your microdose. But before I get into the nitty gritty, I just want to normalize this desire to have an ideal condition. And then the reality that most days, especially with full lives and kids and schedules, are not ideal. Some of us are better at scheduling and prioritizing than others. And there is a real core tension here for a lot of us, right? I want to be intentional. I want to, quote, do it right. And life is full and messy. And if I can't get it right, do I just not do it? Right? And that's really where I see a lot of people falter. For lack of a better word, we can get into a little bit of perfectionism around this work. And I want to just caution you before I go into offering all these suggestions and ideas and ways that you can work with the medicine and set aside some time and what to do in that sacred time. It's not going to look perfect. You don't always have to set aside time. Real life is the playing field for the microdosing experience for the most part. Yes, I do guide groups and we will take a microdose all together and then lay down for an intentional 75-minute, 90-minute experience, right? That is taking time aside to work with the medicine for sure. And then everyone can sit up and integrate and go slow and drive home. And you've had a deep healing experience, but you didn't trip on mushrooms for 8 hours to have it, right? There are ways to efficiently and beautifully and intentionally work with a microdose. And I fully encourage those and will throughout this episode. And many, many microdosing days and really many years of my journey over the past eight years of working intentionally with mushrooms were a prayer, a couple of breaths, a clear intention, and then going into my day. And as I went into my day with my clear intention, I was finding micro moments and I was slowing down and I was working with the medicine and still do work with the medicine as I am moving through life. So there's a real spectrum of ways and experiences that you can maximize your microdose, all the way from take the medicine, take a breath, say a prayer and go, right? To maybe taking a minute at night as you're falling asleep to say oh yeah, can I reflect on this day? Yeah. Oh yeah, I had a moment and it was so interesting. I wonder if the microdose supported me then. And you know what? I'm making a new connection about this relationship or this thing that I do. That is still working with the medicine. Okay, that all the way from that to I took a microdose and cleared my entire day and went for a hike and wrote in my journal and went to a massage appointment and, right? And really, I know someone who does that. It's her self-care day. She works hard 7, 8, 9, 10 days in a row. And then she takes a couple days off to do some healing work. And it's unplug, take the microdose, dive into the self-care, dive into the embodiment, dive into the time by myself, dive into a walk with the dog, dive into going for a swim or a cold plunge, dive into some time in a float tank or a sauna, right? You can do that too. You can commit to that level of time and space. And it 5 minutes, 10 minutes, can be amazing medicine too. So knowing that the amount of time and intention and activities perhaps, or things that you engage in doesn't matter as much as your intention behind it, let's go ahead and begin the list of ideas. I did take some notes here because I do feel like there's so many different things I want to touch on. And I'm just going to encourage you as you listen to allow what resonates to drop in and breathe it in. One thing that you can walk away with, one little nugget here, and allow what just doesn't jive with you to just fall away. Okay, what it means to maximize a microdose. This is about staying in conversation. I want you to remember that the experience of communing with the sacrament, there is a consciousness here, right? The sacred mushroom is speaking to us and speaking through us in a lot of different ways. It can be aha moments and realizations that are happening, those neuroplastic connections, those regions of the brain that are connecting it could be happening in a therapy session. It could be happening as you're driving. It could be happening while you're in the shower, or in the middle of a conversation where you suddenly see something so clearly in a same old conversation that you haven't seen before, right? That's the mushroom being in conversation with you. And it's an exchange, right? The mushroom opened the door. The mushroom showed you something. And now you get to go like, okay, noted. I see. Here's how I'm going to receive that, or adjust, or take a breath, or back up, or not have an argument back with my teenager. This is my version of it. And just let there be a pause where I would normally say something that might not go over well, right? Just that conversation is what I want to emphasize. I also want to say here that I really have become such a big fan of working with one intention held over time. And I talk about this in the book quite a bit, this idea that, when you first start working with the sacred mushroom, either of the sacred mushrooms, both psilocybin, what we call the original sacrament here in the embodied microdosing ministry, and amanita, which is a more embodied kind of dreamy mushroom that a lot of people are having a beautiful nervous system conversation with and healing experience with. And then remembering too that sacraments don't just refer to mushrooms. This particular person writing in was, specifically asking about the original sacrament, but what I'm going to share here applies to any sacraments that you are working with. Sacrament is the offering, the communion, the prayer, the herb, the flower, the mushroom, the plant, the medicine that you are taking with intention and care. And when we can make that conversation go longer than just a day, I picked a wish, right? Today, show me peace. Tomorrow, show me how to get along with my teenager. The next day, show me how to stop being so triggered by my mom. Maybe the next microdosing day after that, I just want to learn how to stop scrolling on my phone so much, right? All different wishes we can make. But those are all really big things, y'all, right? It's we're not going to figure out your scrolling addiction and what's really at the root of that for all of us in one microdosing day, right? We might start to build a little awareness or be able to put it down or resist it for 1 second longer or 1 minute longer, but we really want to get into these longer relational conversations with the sacred medicine. So encouraging you, yes, when you first start out, play around. Show me how to feel the microdose. Show me what intention I should be setting. Show me how to weave some embodiment into my first, second, third microdosing day. Beautiful. Once you start to get clear, what I really want to work on is this. The thing that's getting in the way the most for me is blank, right? And you know what that is right now as I'm saying this. What is the one thing you really desire to see healing in an area of your life? Is it your relationship with someone else? Is it your relationship with yourself? Is it your relationship with God? Right? Those are the 3 types of relationship categories that you may want to look at. Is it your career, your money, your finances? Is it around your home, the dynamic in your living space? Is it around there's countless things that it could be in any area of life, right? Your purpose, your sense of identity, right? What's the thing that you know that if you made some traction in this area, if you healed some of the underlying stories and core negative beliefs in this area, you know that there would be greater freedom for you in your experience? That's the thing I want to encourage you to hold as one intention for 4 to 6 weeks. Let's call it even 12 weeks, right? 4 weeks is really a nice minimum and an area to play with. We do 4 consecutive weeks inside the embodied microdosing ministry in our twice a year challenges. These are 28 consecutive days I spend with you in a group and one of your intentions, just one. You can choose to share it with the group or not. You can choose to just consume the coaching videos and the content and the embodiment practices that I give you throughout the month, the journaling prompts, all of that to really see what it feels like to be in conversation day after microdosing day. So inviting you, our next challenge, by the way, is starting on January 16th. And I anticipate a really great group beginning of year. While I don't heavily push New Year's intentions around this time and making huge sweeping changes, I think having a committed microdosing experience in the wintertime for 4 consecutive weeks is an amazing way to winter, right? Because the doing is the kind of doing that's going to make changes, right? I had resistance around exercise for decades. And there's still resistance there for me, even as I lean into healing and the incredible work I've done being in better relationship with my body and with fitness over the last 2 years specifically. But it wasn't until I made it my microdosing intention for a full month, it may have even been a full season, over last year, 2024, 2 years ago, with the theme of strength for the whole year, as I really leaned into learning how to become strong physically as a person. And of course, strength trickles down to so many different areas. But it wasn't until I microdosed for 4 consecutive weeks around the intention, show me how to build strength in my body, show me what is at the root of my triggers and avoidance of exercise, show me how to become strong in my physical self, that I really got to untangle the here's the T word, and I hate to use it, but those of you that still use it know the trauma that I had around sports, around physical exercise, around injuries that I had gotten growing up, around the way I was teased about how I ran and how dorky my run looked, right? I had so much programming as Little Rye around who I was not, which was, you're not an athlete. You are not the kind of person that should even go near gym equipment because you're going to hurt yourself or you're going to hurt someone else. So please go over to the theater wing of the school and do what you are clearly cut out to do, which is perform and sing and make people laugh and cry. Okay, done, right? And I was perfectly happy to accept that programming and to move away. But Little Rye needed to hear and to know and to be shepherded over to the truth that it is safe to move your body until it hurts a little bit. It is safe to lift something up that's a little heavier than you would normally lift. She was afraid of those things, right? You are safe to run, even though you run very awkwardly, like an awkward bird, I think I was told as a child, right? You are safe to sweat. You're safe to have your heart race. You're safe to let your face get red. You're safe to be sweaty and gross, although that really doesn't gross me out. But pretty much everything associated with fitness was so uncomfortable for me on every level. And it wasn't like, hey, I'm just one of those people that doesn't really like to exercise. Because I got in conversation with the sacred mushroom, because I asked, what's here? What's underneath this block? Oh, shit. That's when I really began to understand. And it wasn't like I didn't forget that all those things happened to me as a kid, but I didn't see them as particularly traumatizing until I really, really, really sat with Little Rye. And it was like, oh, she's still holding the memory of these things that were programmed in her. And I injured myself a lot whenever I did exert myself as a kid. And even as an adult, I'd be like, okay, this is it. I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to work out. I'm going to join a gym. If you can relate to the more highly inflamed type of human, highly sensitive, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, all of the categories, I would get sick. I would pull a muscle. I've broken many bones in my life trying to just do things like chase my dog or dance with a boy at a party senior year and we fell and I snapped and broke my arm, or some heavy gardening, even using some gardening equipment. I drove a gardening spike through the top of my foot. Some of you may remember that one. Broke my other foot just walking weird down a step when I was in a hurry one day, right? So it's almost like I didn't even trust my body as an adult, even though my brain said, yes, we can get in shape now. There was so much, not just programming of memories, but the physical memory of these things in my body. Gosh, I didn't really expect to share so much. Thanks for hearing me. Around movement and strength.
If you're feeling the call to microdose but unsure about where to start or to source, the Embodied Microdosing Sacrament Shop is a safe and sacred space for you to explore. Inside, you can find pure, organic, handcrafted tinctures, including our 2 mushrooms, psilocybin and Amanita muscaria, both designed for your healing, grounding, and connection. We also have flower remedies like rose, lavender, holy basil, just perfect to complement your mushroom microdosing practice.
All of these liquid remedies are easy to dose, very tasty, and can be taken directly in your mouth or added to your tea or water. If you're curious about how they feel, you can read some of the testimonials inside the shop for inspiration. You can explore all of the offerings at embodiedmicrodosing.com/shop. These are sacred remedies for spiritual self-healers. That's embodiedmicrodosing.com/shop. Building strength. So because I held that intention for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, a whole year, really, in some ways, I was able to break through some barriers around myself as a physically fit or strong being. And now would I consider myself strong? Not really. And maybe I'm comparing myself to some ideal of strong that I have in my head for myself, not against somebody else. But I have come a long way in the last 2 years. And I'm well on my way to continuing to break through these beliefs, to heal Little Rye's experience of herself and her body, and to prove to myself that, yes, even here at 46, perimenopausal, I can do some wall Pilates and fascial maneuvers and get on my mat even when I don't want to do some stretching or to lift some weights and feel my own strength. So just putting that plug in there for the beauty and the importance of a consecutively held intention with embodiment practices woven in on a regular basis. And you can do that inside of the ministry this coming January. Starting on the 16th, we run for a full month, and we'll put the link to sign up in the show notes. I would love to have you there. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, I just burped, so we can move on. So there's like a whole menu of ways to work with a microdose. Getting back to this question of how do I work with it? How do I maximize it? Of course, you know, the name of the ministry is Embodied Microdosing. My first choice always, and because it was the thing that really broke me through and opened so many doors, is going to be these embodiment practices, specifically breath work. Even just 5 minutes, y'all. Okay, no, 3 minutes. 3 minutes of intentionally moving air in and out of your body. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to follow a format. I do give you videos inside of the challenge if that's helpful for you. You can come to Breathwork Church, which is our free offering the first Sunday of every month, to experience what it's like to be guided doing breath work with a guide. But breathing is breathing. Put on one song and move air in and out. Move around with it because dancing will get you breathing. Pant or breathe slow. Hum on the exhale. That's a favorite of mine. I did it a few times before I started. Ooh, it slowed me down already. And move some air as your embodiment practice. For this busy mom, setting aside, 10, 15 minutes, taking the microdose, and then moving some air. And then possibly journaling, meditating, talking some voice notes. If you are an external processor, may be helpful, but body first. Move air, move energy first. Of course, your embodiment practice doesn't have to be breathwork. Like I mentioned, if you put on a couple songs you love to dance to and dance, that fucking counts. It counts. And sometimes that's better medicine than sitting on a pillow or sitting on your couch or laying on the floor and breathing. I swear. I did it the other day. I put on some 90s hits, like best of the 90s. Those were my glory years. And I just rocked out in my office. I just jumped up and down and sang the words out loud to myself and sang like I was in the shower and I was 17 years old again. Oh, that's good medicine. And that's embodiment. Your embodiment could look like walking in the woods or in your neighborhood or on a trail without a device necessarily. It could look like some mindful stretching or yoga. It could look like intuitive movement, just kind of feeling when I sit on a cushion and just feel what does my body want to do. I'm doing it right now. I'm sitting cross-legged and I'm swirling my heart in circles. I'm moving my torso around in circles. That's a typical move I would do. I might bring my hand to my heart then too and sort of rub and create some contact there. I might run my fingers up and down my skin, my bare skin, doing something I call havening to stimulate some oxytocin and touch. The nervous system extends all the way to the skin. I can touch my body. I'm scratching my leg over my yoga pants right now and just being aware of the tingly sensation of that, right? You might not think that just touching yourself is embodiment work, but oh yes, it is. And that touch can also be intimate. It can be pleasurable. It can be sensual. Of course, you can engage in touch with a partner too if it's mindful. And if there's an awareness there that this is your embodiment practice, absolutely go for it. Traditional regular exercise like lifting or I'm just going to say lifting. I've had several people over the years tell me they love microdosing before lifting. They feel like it helps them break through some of the mental barriers around it. One person in particular microdoses before her CrossFit classes. I absolutely love that. And I've had the experience of microdosing before lifting, although I will say sometimes it gives me too much confidence and I'm like, I'm going to go up and wait. And then I'm like, oh, no. So therein is the conversation, right? The medicine was showing me what I had capacity for and what I did not have capacity for, but just be careful, right? It's not just, I'm going to take a microdose and hit it hard. Like embodiment is about being aware of your body from within your body. Okay, it's not about, I'm just doing this movement because it's what I'm supposed to do after I microdose, right? It's intentional. You're not walking on a treadmill while watching television. That's not embodiment, right? You can walk on the treadmill and stay with yourself, right? Playing music, feeling your legs and your muscles, rolling your shoulders, thinking, processing, that's embodiment. Okay, being aware of your body from within your body is kind of the simplest way that I can put it. It could be detox practices. You could go in the sauna. You could get on a vibration plate. You can dry brush and then take a hot bath, right? Any practices that bring you into that place of sweating or pooping, coffee enema, or peeing, right? Ultra hydrating and then going outside and sweatsuit and running, right? Any practices where you're going to be detoxing. I'm a huge fan of combining the microdose with the detox practices. It's like a newer awareness for me, and I'm excited to keep playing with that. It's body awareness too during your daily tasks. You know, if cleaning your house is a workout and you normally just listen to a podcast, right? What if you microdose without listening to a podcast and listen to your body as you clean, notice your body? Okay. And it's any nervous system regulating practices that you find supportive. I think of vagal toning here. The practices, the more manual manipulation techniques of the vagus nerve that I share a lot inside the ministry, and I do at the beginning of a lot of our ceremonies inside of the Journey to Heal membership. That's my monthly membership at $49 a month. You journey with me twice a month over Zoom, and there's an entire library of recordings where I teach you and guide you and show you how to work with your breath and your body. But something as simple as what I call horizon eyes, keeping your head facing forward and then looking your eyes all the way to the left and holding them there even as your head faces forward and just letting yourself stretch. Oh my gosh, I start to yawn right away. It's such a good vagal toning exercise for me. And just, that nice release that happens with these nervous system manual manipulation techniques, and then putting your eyeballs over to the other side. I mentioned this one because we did it Sunday at Friday night in our member ceremony, and I just felt like it was so juicy and good. I was seeing so many people yawning and sighing, and then I want to push on my eyeballs after this and just start massaging my forehead and my jaw, right? Like self-massage and all your tension points. This is embodiment too. So, sometimes when there's too many ideas, it's like, well, which one do I do? Which one of what I just mentioned seems accessible to you now in your life, in your busy schedule? Breathwork, walking, stretching, movement, exercise, detox, body awareness, nervous system regulation techniques. Pick one, just one, and give it about 10 minutes on a microdosing day. Start small, right? Sometimes that's all that I do. Now, some microdosing days I might meet with a practitioner that I'm working with and do a 60-minute ceremony and breathwork session and emotional release, right? But a lot of times 10, 15 minutes might be all that you need on a microdosing day to just get yourself connected to your physical self so that the work that's happening in your brain and in your nervous system, the mind-body connection, you are not a mind and a body, you have a mind-body connection. You have the experience of these two parts of you in communication. And this is what we are aiming to strengthen in this work. Sacred mushrooms are mind medicine. Okay, that psilocybin is mind medicine. Yes, there are amazing ways that it supports the nervous system healing. There are amazing ways that our body can kind of like physically unravel in the presence of mushrooms. It is body medicine too. But really what all these universities all over the world are studying is the impact of psilocybin on the mind, on depression, on anxiety, on the brain, on the neurotransmitters. And so why we pair it with embodiment specifically is to bring that mind-body connection online, is to really pattern in the healing in those deeper levels. This is what maximizes the mushroom. So those are the embodied practices. That's number one, in the menu of ways to work with. Pick an embodiment practice from the menu of embodiment practices I just listed, or one that you can think of, and go for a hike, right? Go find yourself at the top of somewhere where you can look down at the peak of your microdose, like, right? There are so many ways to do this. Number two, doing inner work and processing work. This is less specific to embodiment, but really, really can solidify, and I think is great to tag onto the embodiment to do in tandem with it. Journaling. Writing, the written word is so powerful for so many of us. I'm trying to get back into journaling. It was my faithful companion my whole life. I mean, y'all, I literally have a diary from when I was 8 with a little lock on it and everything. I have always loved writing, and now I have a book that's going to be published this year in 2026. So that feels so purposeful. And I realized recently that I need to write every day. Whether that's writing right now, this is writing for me, speaking. I need to use words every day. This is my processing. This is my healing too, by speaking and sharing with you the writing that I did in the book, when I write you all emails, which I love to do, when I write a social media post, all of that highlights one of my core values, which is personal expression. And we all need to be expressed. Yes, some of us are not expressive in words. Like, I just so admire people who can dance professionally and even just for fun, right? Like that is expression too, right? But writing in a journal, unscripted, free writing, flow of writing, bulleted points, bulleted lists, gratitude lists, evidence of miracles is a great list to write on a microdosing day. Just evidence that I'm healing. Here's some moments throughout today, or here's some visioning. Here's how I want to see myself heal. Here's what I can imagine myself behaving like in these relationships or these situations. As we call on our highest self, we can do visioning and journal work. We can write letters to our future self, or we can go back and write letters to the little one, to the inner child who needs to hear something in particular. What a beautiful healing ritual that can be. Therapy sessions, that's a way to process. EMDR is a trauma-informed, trauma-focused way of healing through therapy. I think it's really great, sometimes only as good as the practitioner, and something worth exploring if the therapeutic application, appeals to you. Or even processing with a friend, talking with a trusted person, or even leaving yourself voice memos and voice notes, or voice memoing with a friend. I do so much great processing, talking to a few women in my life by voice memo almost every single day. It tethers me, it keeps me grounded, it helps me feel less alone. And it's a way that I get to be in that expression and use words and process. So this inner work and this processing piece can be super, super powerful on a microdosing day. And you don't have to time it so that it's like, I took my microdose and how many minutes later do I journal? Like, the medicine is in your system for 6 hours. Yes, it's going to come up in the first 5 to 20 minutes. You might not feel a come up, but it may be, it's moving into the channels it's meant to be in within the first hour, let's say. And when we do microdosing plus embodiment work in the ministry, we dose and then we go into breath, and then we go into processing, and then we go into meditation, and then we go into visualization. So dose and do your work. But if you want to dose at 6 a.m. when you wake up, and then you do breakfast and kids and drop them off at school or get to work or whatever, and then your time to be with yourself and to work with the medicine is at noon, at lunchtime, great. The medicine's still in your system. You could take another drop or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. At that time, you can take a booster dose. You could take a second dose in a day for sure. But don't get too caught up on what's the exact timing to get this right? When I did a study in 2023 and I tracked the results of 40 participants who were doing this exact work, who were microdosing with my formula, and had committed to 10 minutes of embodiment per day, and they were not all doing it perfectly. Trust me, they had to self-report every week and say, did you get your 10 minutes or 60 minutes a week? Less than 10 minutes a day was the requirement. every single person in that study experienced healing to varying degrees in different areas of life, right? It's like none of that matters, right? But they moved the needle because they put these two things together totally imperfectly. So when the book comes out, there'll be more concrete protocols that you can follow. And certainly inside the Embodied Microdosing Challenge happening this month, January 16th, inside of the ministry, you're welcome to join. It's free with the membership. It's only $57 to join a la carte. You can create your custom little protocol for the 4 weeks. You can say, okay, here's what I'm doing. I'm dosing 3 times a week, and I'm going to dose at this time, and I'm going to take an hour between here and here, and I'll report back, right? I'll sign off on it. Like, that sounds like a great schedule. Any questions that you have, I'm going to answer them for you. But don't get too caught up in doing it perfectly, especially when it comes to the processing work. A lot of times in the early years of doing this, I would process at night, 8, 10, 12 hours after I'd taken my microdose, and I was still making connections. Even the next day, don't forget, you have that afterglow day for a lot of people. You can still kind of feel the echoes and the reverberations and the support of the medicine the next day without even taking a dose. So don't get caught up on timing too much. You are working with the medicine as long as you are working with the medicine. The mushroom is with you when you are working with the mushroom. So let that processing, that inner work and processing happen, whether it's journaling, therapy, guided meditations. I'm really loving doing some hypnosis work right now, and I'm leaning into learning more about it so that I can be offering some of those brilliant and absolutely science-backed and proven tools for guiding someone with words and visualizations and cues. So yeah, I'm loving taking my microdose and listening to hypnosis tracks. Prayer. Going into prayer, speaking your prayers, praying on paper, praying out loud, praying in your heart, praying in your mind, whispering a prayer. That's also a beautiful way to process, to ask for support, to call in your guides, to lean on God, to develop a relationship with God, whatever name you use for God. It doesn't matter. Universe, divine, source, creator, all of the above. Okay, that was the second category. I'm like loving that. I want to get into that more this winter. Inner work and processing. Feels so cozy. I'm going to set more fires. We have a wood burning stove. I did not use it a lot last winter. I want to use it more this winter and sit with my journal on the couch by the fire at night, a couple nights, and just process in the coziness. And then third category here, this is just interpersonal and relational use. Taking your microdose and working with it because you're going to be working with humans. Now, this might seem a little crazy to some. It's like, no, I'm trying to get away from the humans so that I can have time by myself and work with the medicine. But hear me out here. Before a date night, right, with your partner of 22 years, or with someone that you've just started seeing, or with someone that you're hitting some bumps with in your partnership, how do you think a microdose might support, I don't know, how the conversation goes, how the intimacy goes, maybe before therapy, couples therapy, right? Very, very interesting way to think about this. I intentionally work with a microdose before difficult conversations. I find it opens me up more. It helps me be a little more patient and to listen a little bit more, to go a little bit slower, to be a little more compassionate to what the other person might be thinking or feeling. And I find I just feel like I have my spiritual support more online with me when the mushroom is there. I really believe the sacred mushroom connects us to the ancestral realm. I have felt that so deeply and so personally in my own life. If you don't work with ancestors, to the spirit realm in general. I feel like the mycelium under the ground is what is connecting. We know it's like the Wi-Fi, right? It's the internet, right? It's the internet of nature. But I feel like it's what our prayers travel on. I feel like it's what when you get a sign or something, it's it came in on the mycelial network. And so when I work with the sacred mushroom, I feel that interconnectedness of everything so much. And it really helps me in interpersonal relationships. Not necessarily for everyone. Some people might feel like, oh my gosh, I get way too emotional or whatever. Feel it out for yourself. Before family time, I love working with rose sacrament before I have nighttime routine stuff with my kids. Because I find I could be a little less patient, a little more irritated. I'm tired. I don't really have the patience for this shit. Just go to bed so I can go to bed kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Although we are finally at the point where my husband and I say goodnight to our children and they basically tuck us in and we're like, just don't wake us up. Don't burn anything down. Enjoy having the whole downstairs. We're going upstairs now. Go to bed. And also you're not going to go to bed. So enjoy your evening without mom and dad down here. So yeah, before family time, rose sacrament, not even a psychedelic, not psychoactive, not even a mushroom, beautifully heart opening for me, and a really great medicine to work with intentionally in the same way that you might work with a microdose. The other morning before breathwork church, I was feeling really emotional. My hormones were shifting as my cycle is ending, and in this perimenopause energy, and everything feels a little different and more heightened. And I was tired, and I'm tired from the holidays, and I had turned my phone off the day before, and it felt so good to have a break from it. And then I went out in my cabin and turned my phone on, and it was ding, 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 ding. And everything that was coming through were, what people needed from me. And in that particular instance, there was no support coming through for me, just me needing to be of support. And that's understandable given the fact that I hold space for a living. And my system just collapsed into a story that people don't care about me. They care about what I can do for them. And that's not true. And I'm proving it to myself and microdosing around it and praying about it whenever I get triggered in it. Because what I did, I sat down and I cried really hard for about 5 minutes, felt so good, moved the emotion that was present, and then connected with Little Rye. I got you. I care about you. You matter. Come here. And then I reached for rose medicine, not a mushroom. My heart needed rose. I needed comfort. I really needed mothering. I needed the Divine Mother, and the rose does connect me to Mama Creator. And I took a large dose of the rose sacrament, probably a full dropper, held it under my tongue, and I just said, Rose, Mother, Divine Mother, God, Goddess, come in, come in, come in. I need you. I need you. I was scheduled to start breathwork church in about 20 minutes from my big, huge cry and to hold space for you, for the community, for the ministry. So instantly, I'm talking instantly, y'all. It was such deep medicine. Instantly. Swallow the rose and comfort washes over me. I feel held, I feel wrapped, I feel supported, and I felt the divine feminine strong. And I reminded myself, I do have support. You do have support on this earthly plane. I always can feel my spiritual support, and that's of comfort. But what came through was, you're not alone, and it's not you holding up everybody else. Guess what? There are amazing women, especially, holding you up. And there are 5 women that I placed around me that exist in real life, that support me, that love me, that can handle my intensity, that can be honest with me, that are good to me, that are kind to me, that I can trust with my secrets, my shadow, my darkness, my little insecure parts. And they love me anyway. Some of them are friends, lifelong friends. Some are colleagues who I have professionally sort of supportive relationships with. But every single one of them surrounded me. I placed them around me. These are these women. These are these 5 women. And I just felt myself in this vision, almost flopping into them, letting go and letting them literally hold me up. And I just stayed in that image. I stayed in that prayer. I stayed in that for a few minutes. And I felt so amazing. I felt so much better. I came out of that and I was like, all right, my face is blotchy and my eyes are watery and I got to blow my nose about 10 times, but I'm ready to hold space now. And I purposely didn't try and make it look like I didn't cry. I got onto breathwork church and I told everybody there what had just happened because I'm living this message with you all. So why did I tell you all of that? Because I'm talking about how immediate it is to work with these sacraments and how they connect us to the spirit realm, really, and to answers and solutions and truths that can come flying the fuck through despite what our chattery parts of ourselves, our insecure parts, the mind, the darkness, the conditioning, the bullshit the lies will want us to believe. A couple of years ago, hell, even a couple of months ago in some cases, I might have really gone down that road with the nobody likes me thing for a hot minute, not even cried, been like, fuck everyone, right? And then tried to like make myself be in a place to hold space. And I just literally I can't contain myself anymore. I have to be authentic. That was my word this year. I have to allow it to come through, even if it's at an inconvenient time, because this is what I'm teaching you to do. This is how I'm teaching us to live. This is how we're going to heal ourselves in the world. By being authentically who we are, feeling authentically what we feel, and really learning how not to hurt ourselves or hurt another in the face of a big emotion, but allow it to be the very medicine and balm that we need to carry us home and to show us the healing that's available to us every time we're triggered. Because the trigger's not a problem. The trigger's a little indicator, a little sign, a little flag waving, see, here is a spot that's needing your love, that's needing your healing, that's needing your support. Bring in the sacrament, bring in embodiment, bring in some breath, bring in some visualization, bring in some new beliefs, and hold little rye and step into highest self rye. That is the work. That is what I teach you here. So taking the medicine before holding space for others, that can mean before a gathering with girlfriends where you know that, you're part of holding that energy of connection and love and authenticity with a group of women, or that could be before having to like volunteer at your kid's school. Really, really, you can work with the sacrament before volunteering and helping a child read. You can. So, this is about letting the medicine support how you show up in the world, not just how you feel. We're not just taking it to medicate or to drug, right? Or to numb. In fact, it kind of has the opposite effect, right? It's going to be more revealing, maybe more vulnerable. Not for everyone, but yeah, try it before interpersonal and relational use and let me know how'd it go. All right, number 4, consciously taking it. I was talking about at the beginning, consciously taking it while living life, right? Not necessarily taking time like, hey kids, I'm not available for an hour because I'm going to go work with the sacred mushroom. Not necessarily, but like in that I'm going to play some music and let that be my medicine. Instead of listening to a podcast in the car, I'm going to listen to the hits from my childhood and sing them on the top of my lungs and see how that feels. While listening to podcasts and audiobooks, put on some content, a spiritual podcast, this podcast, something you really enjoy learning about. Some idea that you want imprinted in your mind, microdose, and allow that information, that input to come in, maybe an audiobook too. I'm going to be recording the audiobook for my book, hopefully this month. The intention is this month. I got to get my microphone situation sorted out. But yeah, listening is medicine too. During driving, chores, daily rhythms, the things you normally do, but with the secret support of the sacrament and that intention that you are setting. That's really key here. If you're not clear on setting intentions, go back. I have a great episode on intention setting. I don't know what episode it is, but I don't have that many to scroll back through and really get clear on what it is that you are asking the mushroom to support you with, because that's really the step 1 in effectively maximizing your microdose is setting a good intention. But that's not really what we're talking about here. You don't need like silence to do this, right? This doesn't have to be like, I took my microdose and now I will sit in a Zen meditation. I'm not making fun of you if that's what works for you. Amazing. I've had like a few really amazing, quiet, still Zen meditative moments that were like, fucking transcendent. And I hope I get many more in my lifetime. But that's not typically how I can integrate the medicine. I usually got some fucking energy to move. And I have a feeling a lot of you are like me. But if you want to sit and be still, do it. But that's not necessarily the only way to work with the medicine. Okay, so the medicine works through you. All right, number 5. How many do I have? I think I have 7. Yeah, number 5, doing parts work and inner child work. Now, I've already kind of talked about this. I've talked about little Rye a couple times in this episode, and whoever your little is, I encourage you to get a picture. I recently stumbled upon like a blown up, bigger picture of Little Rye. That was like a picture I haven't really seen a lot in my life. Like not one of the ones my mom has framed throughout my 46 years somewhere around where she lives. I'm like, oh yeah, look at Little Rye. She's like 3 and maybe in a bathing suit at a pool, but it's like a close up on her face and she's smiling and her hair's kind of wet and her eyes are squinting in the sun. I'm like, oh my God, I love her. I'm going to put her up at my altar. So she's there and I've been talking to her lately. But this can be its own little moment. A lot of time I do work with Rye when Little Rye is triggered, right? So, when you're triggered, check in with the younger parts because that's who's actually triggered. But you don't need to understand parts work formally to do this. If you want to get into it, Internal Family Systems or IFS, Dick Schwartz is the creator. There's an insane amount of podcasts and content and creators that are onto this right now. It's like the hottest and biggest thing in the therapeutic model, and it works really well in conjunction with psychedelics as well. I have found it to be absolutely invaluable on my journey, and inner child work is absolutely, without a doubt, the most needle-moving, game-changing, trauma-shifting stuff I've ever done. When I connect with Little Rye, the much deeper stuff can heal and shift. Because, all of this got programmed in when Little Rye was taking notes about how the world worked. But you don't need to officially understand it. What we're really talking about is working with whatever part of you needs you in that moment. Okay, the part that is frustrated with your kids, the part that is overwhelmed at work, the part that is clenching their jaw, the part that is super inflamed and just wants to smoke a bowl and avoid life, the part that wants a drink, the part that wants a divorce, right? Any part of you that's showing up, the part that's just numb and doesn't know what she wants, right? Some people will say like, I don't know, I'm not triggered, right? Or I'm unclear, or I'm confused, or I'm so ADHD, or I'm just overwhelmed all the time. That's a part too, right? Don't have an expectation that you should get to some sort of part that someone else has gotten to. Any part that's showing up is the part. The distracted part, the part that doesn't want to do embodiment work, the part that feels confused and overwhelmed about microdosing, right? All parts of you matter, and every part at any given time can be seen, heard, listened to, connected with. And there's deep, deep healing when these parts of you that have been ignored or overridden or exiled or told that they're wrong finally get your attention and you say, hey, hi, I see you. I'm here with you. I'm just going to sit here with you. I'm going to sit here with you. I'm going to put my hand on my heart, on our heart, and I'm just going to let you know that I care about you and you matter to me. There's so much medicine in that. So because microdosing naturally sort of softens our defenses, takes us out of that default mode, can take us into the other parts of our consciousness and our experience, microdosing is incredible paired with parts work. It can create a little more space between you and the part so you can see it more clearly, right? That the part isn't just running the show all the time and driving the car and in charge and you think you are that part, right? That's you acting out of the wounded part or letting the wounded part or the child kind of be your whole identity. That space can be created between you and the part so you can see like, oh, I'm not this reactive part of me. I'm me. I'm the soul that I came here to be. I'm my true self. I'm my highest self. I'm my authentic, badass, grounded, rooted self. And I have this part of me is just really loud, right? And has been driving the car for a really long time. Oh, we're not the same part. There's me and then there's her. That space is really critical to parts work. I think microdosing and parts work, I think it reduces the overwhelm around it. Truthfully, it's much easier for me to connect to and access and make contact with these parts of me, more and more deeper parts, the deeper I go into parts work. And there's just less overwhelm around like the whole process of doing parts work. I think it increases compassion and curiosity too for myself. I can kind of look at the shamier parts, the parts that have made choices that are maybe not from our highest self and where we hold tension and judgment and shame around those parts. Because we are loosening that default mode and operating from different parts of ourselves, we can be more compassionate to the parts that really need us to say, like, I know that we feel like we really screwed that up, right? And come home, come here. I've got you, right? We all make mistakes. This kind of inner self-forgiveness is so supportive for the healing work. And I think microdosing and self-forgiveness practices, I have a whole chapter on this in the book, are a match made in heaven. And I think microdosing really allows the feelings to flow without like flooding, right? And ending up, that 5 minutes of crying for me was like perfect and concise and expressed and didn't lead into like hours of crying or feeling like super fucked up from not really letting the whole cry out just a little bit. And now I'm clenching my jaw and I've got tension in my head and I can't focus. And then I start lashing out at my family. Like, I think that emotionality that some of us experience and when we work with the original sacrament is really a benefit. Like, here we go. It's up, it's coming, it's out, and I'm on the other side of it, right? Remember the ocean of emotion, the wave, it's going to come. It's going to feel like, oh my gosh, that wave is so big. And then you dive in it, right? And you face it and you come out the other side. So letting those feelings move in parts work, in this experience of working with the sacrament. Okay, let's see. Where do I want to go from here? Let's go on. Number 6. When you don't do anything, do nothing. Don't work with the medicine. Just dose and live. Just hold the intention lightly. So this isn't doing nothing. We're taking the medicine and we're setting an intention. And just be aware. Just notice. Maybe you're doing the day exactly as you would do it if you didn't take a microdose, but you're observing with curiosity. Oh, how interesting, right? Non-judgment as much as possible, as much as you can muster, maybe even making that the intention. Show me how to accept and not judge myself today as I observe myself in my typical pattern. Oh, how interesting. I said I was going to get off of TikTok and I'm 20 minutes deeper into it. All right, now I'm going to get off. Oh, how interesting. I'm still on. One more, just one more, right? Just observing yourself in the habits and the behaviors and the addictions and the stories in the typical patterns and letting yourself see it with the just slightly elevated consciousness that may be happening with the dose in your system. So, watching yourself parent, catching your patterns in real time, feeling your emotions move, noticing what they feel like as they're rising and moving and clenching and unclenching in your body. Responding instead of reacting, perhaps, because there's a little more space there with the medicine, right? So your life is not a distraction from the medicine. It's not like, oh, my life is so annoying, I'm trying to work with the medicine. It's where the medicine is doing its work, okay? So number 6, don't do any practices. And finally, number 7, having intentional days versus these everyday dosing days. Okay, just being in the rhythm and the flow, not getting too dogmatic and caught up on, oh my gosh, it's a microdosing day. When am I going to find my time to be with my microdose? Some days are for deeper practices. And I'll be honest with you, the deeper practices, I often need to schedule with somebody else. I need to have somebody else hold space for that. And that's what the ministry is for you. It's me holding space for you to have a deeper practice, for you to join the membership and come to a journey and drop in over Zoom for 75 minutes. It's for you to come to Breathwork Church first Sunday of every month, free to everyone. And we do a 25-minute journey together and embodiment practices. And there's a little sermon and a little bit of teaching, some announcements about the ministry. You can watch replays of any of the Breathwork churches inside the ministry as well, right? Some days are for deeper practice, setting aside that hour to go for the walk, to write in your journal, to call a friend, okay? And some days are for integration. These are days when you take the medicine and days when you're not taking the medicine. You can have a serious drop-in with someone the day after you microdose and receive so much deep, rich medicine, right? Remember, we don't want to get prescriptive here. Both types of days matters. Both types of days matter. The deeper practice days and the integration real life days. Both are valid. So I hope this content has given you something going on for an hour here almost, something that you can take away from here, more ideas, more inspiration, more resolve going into your new year for how you might want to work with and maximize your microdose And I'm just going to encourage you to get intentional about your intentions. What is your intention for the month of January for winter, right? Can you start honing in on one area, one focus? And what's one simple way you can work with the medicine this week? Where can you start, right? Where can you lift any pressure of perfection and just start to play in this realm to see the medicine will tell you? You're going to start to know, oh, this is how I maximize my dose, right? I want to take the medicine. And look, I talked to one super busy mom recently that said she takes the medicine when she's going by herself to the grocery store, which is a rarity for her. She's got 2 small kids. She's like, I hope this isn't unorthodox, but I take it and then I get in the car and go to the grocery store by myself. And she said, it's like heaven, right? Like, amazing. That's amazing. She has space. Her kids are not tugging at her and asking her for things. She's looking at groceries and making decisions for herself and her family, but she's able to go slow and process what's happening. That's a fucking brilliant example of someone really maximizing the microdose for themselves, making it work in their real life. Okay? So you don't need perfect conditions. The relationship and the conversation, the co-creation that you are in with the medicine is built over time, and you're not wasting it. It's never wasted. You can maximize it, but work with it. Show up with it. Don't let it sit on a shelf or in a cabinet or in the top of your dresser drawer because you haven't found the perfect way to maximize your microdose. All of the suggestions that I've made here are possibilities for you to play in. And I want to officially invite you to join us for the Embodied Microdosing Challenge. You can take the challenge for free if you join the Journey to Heal membership. That's a $49 a month, beautiful container that I absolutely love being in and guiding journeys and deep, rich healings in. Or you can take the challenge a la carte. You don't have to join the membership. It's $57 to do the full 4 weeks, 1 month with us. Get my guidance, coaching videos, embodiment practices for you to weave into your winter intention. And yeah, I'd love to have you. So thank you. Thank you for doing this intentional work. Thank you for caring and wanting it to be maximized, wanting it to be good, for having such heart about how you are going about your healing experience. And I just want to invite you to lean in and remember that you are not alone on this journey of microdosing, embodiment, and healing. I'm here for you. The ministry is here for you. Your spiritual support is always here for you. You just have to ask. And until next time, this content and the podcast and everything that I put out there is all for you. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, would you do me a favor and leave a review or click on some stars or send it to a friend or do one of the things that you think would help get the word out there? That would mean so much to me. Thanks, friends. See you next time.